welcome to the Darling Dream Show. We have Tyrese with PHP Agency, and stay tuned for the interview. Welcome to the Darling Dream Show. Today we have Tyrese with the PHP, and she's going to tell us all about her business. So, welcome to the Darling Dream Show. How are you, Tyrese?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. So, tell us a little background about yourself and how you got into PHP.
Okay. Background about myself. I actually come from the auto industry. So previously, I worked at AutoZone. I worked at the Toyota dealership.
Oh.
So I actually don't come from this background at all. My background was the auto industry, and the way I came into PHP was I was actually recruited into the industry by one of my high school friends. And, at the first time, I didn't really pay attention to her. She was kind of just like, come, I think you'd be good at this. I was like, no, I'm good. I like cars. But she kept annoying me. So she kept texting me about it. I was like, okay, I guess I'll see what it's about. And, here I am. I liked everything they had to say and what we do. And once I actually got to experience it and I heard from people who were experiencing this company, I was like, this is the place I want to be.
And how far are you inside the business?
2 years now.
2 years in the business?
Yes.
And what has this business done for you?
Wow, that's a good question. For me, this business, most of all, I think the most important thing to me was that now I get to develop and grow as a person. Whereas before, when I was in the auto industry, it was just clock in, clock out, do your job, and then go home.
Oh.
Here I have mentors in the business who push me to be better, be a better person. And if I'm not doing something right, it's a sort of accountability that they tell me, hey, look, this is something that I think you can improve upon. These are your tendencies, and this is how you're going to fix them, right? So when you're at a job, it's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
If you mess up, it's kind of like, hey, here's your first warning, right?
Yes, it is.
Versus when you're in this industry, when I came into this company, it's like, hey, you're messing up on this, read this book. It's going to help you with this, right? Or you're showing up late. What's going on? Like, is there something in your life going on? How can we help you? Type thing.
Yes.
So personal development was a huge thing for me here. And the energy here is different.
Yeah?
Yeah, so it's like, when I first came in, everyone was like cheering and laughing. I was like, this is weird. These people don't do insurance, But I came in, and the more I kept showing up to meetings, it was just, they became like a second family to me. Because I can walk in any of these offices, and they're like, hey, Therese, how's your day? I'm so glad to see you, And if anything else is going on in my life, they genuinely care. Whereas at my old job, they didn't. It was just like, hey, I don't care, just make sure you're here on time.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. I know that when somebody works in any business that's you're working for somebody else, they really don't care for the employees. They mostly care about them making money for the company.
Yes. Yeah.
So for you, PHP would be more that they care for the employees themselves and not just for the business.
Yes. Yeah. So at the same time, PHP is still a business.
Mm-hmm.
We do need to make money. But at the same time, the way we make money is we can't make money unless our newest person makes money. So that means I have to help the newest person in order for me to move up, right? It's like, you have these different companies and they have great systems, but the way they move up in their system is like, hey, you bring on a new person, you go up. But it doesn't matter what that new person does, whether they sink or whether they do well or they fail and sink. And the new person has to do well in order for you to do well. It's like you grow if you help this person to grow.
So it's like basically you're helping the new person and you're both growing and advancing together.
Yes.
What products and services do you guys provide here?
Yeah, so we actually have 6 different products and services. We do annuities, life insurance, 401k rollovers, Roth IRA rollovers, and we have final expenses. We have long-term care. We have quite a few of them.
Yes.
But the one of the biggest things we do is life insurance.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you and what does PHP stands for?
PHP stands for people helping people.
Yes. They're always about helping people and not helping themselves.
That's exactly why it was named People Helping People. That's actually where our CEO Patrick, Patrick Bet David, he has a channel on YouTube called Valuetainment. I don't know if Nico mentioned it earlier.
No.
It's Valuetainment is basically a free channel for entrepreneurs who want to do side hustles, businesses, or even they're starting out and they just want to learn a little bit more about money or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so he came up with PHP. The way it was described to me is this is the hand of God reaching down to help these people down here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is a good metaphor right there.
Yeah.
That is really good.
But what really sold me is our CEO.
Mm.
Our CEO, Patrick Bet David. The minute I saw him speak, I was speechless. And you can look at, I would look at every other CEO of every other company, and no one captured me as much as Patrick did.
Wow.
Patrick is speaker like none other. It's like when he speaks to you, it's like time stops, and it feels like in a crowd of thousands of people, he's literally speaking to you.
Good environment and a good business.
Yes, yeah, and the vision that he poured about this company is he wants this company to be the company. Whenever you think of like you think of online selling, you think of Amazon, right? Mm-hmm. Whenever you think of let's go shopping, you think maybe Target or Walmart, right? The vision he has for this company is whenever you think insurance or finances, you think PHP. Oh, and that's something that I really wanted to be a part of.
See, what is your goal, your ultimate goal in this business?
That's a funny question because it always changes. It's always changing. Initially when I first came into the business, I just wanted to make a little more money. As a 20-year-old, not having first going out and getting your first job and everything, you touch money and you're like, oh, this is nice, and you want more of it, right? And so that aspect of the business appealed to me at first, where I was like, oh wow, I can make a lot of money. But eventually it grew over time, whereas we started building a team, we started helping a lot more families, and now it's just I want to build an even bigger team and reach that much more families, because we build a team, I bring one person on board, they have a whole community of people that maybe I can't reach.
Yes.
Maybe they're bilingual, and maybe they can speak to those families, whereas I have that language barrier in between,
Yes.
And so that, to me, has morphed. Of course, I want to get paid as well, but the purpose of me joining this business has changed. So now my purpose is I want to recruit more people so that they can go out and help more families. Because the things we talk about here in this business, especially with finances, not a lot of people today are learning about finances.
And you know what? When somebody says about finances, it's like some people get scared about talking about finances.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
They don't want to talk about that subject, finances. They're like, oh, I don't want, they'd rather talk about something else.
Yeah. It kind of goes along with when you're at because I don't know what kind of culture your family has. I come from a Filipino family, and a lot of other ethnicities can relate. Whereas when you're at the dinner table, you don't talk finances, you don't talk religion, we don't talk politics.
Yes,
that's it.
Yes.
Right? But sometimes those are things we do need to talk about because they are controlling our life.
It is.
True. If it's bad finances, good finances, it's the more knowledge with implementation is power. Yes. Right? And I believe that if we can educate the community on what we do here, and they're able to equip themselves with that knowledge, they have that much more power added to their lives. Whereas, because when you're thrown out into the real world, say after high school, do you remember the last time they taught you anything about finances in high school?
Not really. It's been a long
ago. Not as much,
not
right?
Much,
they don't teach you how to balance your checkbook. They don't teach you how to do your taxes, how to apply for loans or anything like that. And so those are things that we want to educate on, because you're kind of just thrown into the adult world and they're like, hey, figure it out.
Yeah. Whereas
most of America now is in debt.
Even some even some companies also they just throw somebody into the business, like, oh, okay, we're gonna put you to work, and then at the end of the day, you gotta go figure out how to make the business work. Even in truck business, people just send them up and get in the truck business, and they just throw them in there, and they don't know what to do.
Yeah, and they're like, figure it out.
Yeah.
Right? Sink or swim.
Yes.
And that's a big thing here as well. Is whenever we get a new person in the business, or I have a new agent who wants to get licensed, it's we're very big on we need to train you before you go and talk to people.
Yes.
Because you can say the wrong thing to someone and they have the wrong impression about how finances work, and that's not what we're trying to preach. We want to teach the right things, how to set up your foundation first, and your savings and emergency funds and your investments and all of that.
And that's a good method too. That's a good method. Not just let them sink and swim and die.
Yeah, because no one succeeds that way. A big part of our business is, like, say for example, when you're buying a franchise, right? Like McDonald's franchises, there's different McDonald's throughout the world. Each of those people are franchise owners, and they already bought a proven system that works, right? But they're also taught how to run that system, right? It's essentially the same thing here. With your agent code, you pay for your agent code, and then we tell you everything on how to succeed here, and it's up to you on what you want to do with that information, right? Because at the end of the day, you can't force anyone to want to change their lives, want to be better, but we can equip them with the knowledge and tools to do so and make that decision for themselves.
Yes. Yes, that's a good method.
Yes.
Now, does this company give back to the community?
Oh, 100%.
In what method?
So there's a bunch of organizations within this company. I know there's Rodolfo Vargas. He's up in Puerto Rico. They have a whole team in Puerto Rico changing everything on life insurance, finances, and I wouldn't even say just life insurance and finances. We're building entrepreneurs here as well. So those people are able to now take back their lives, their time. They can spend more time with their family. They can decide how much income they want to make based on their work ethic, right? TCO, the organization that we are actually a part of, I believe they sponsored a professional boxer, and every now and then they'll have drives, like Thanksgiving drives for the less fortunate. They'll literally, my coach, Ricky Aguilar, he actually, in Bakersfield, they bought like a bunch of turkeys. He loaded them up in his trunk and just gave them away.
Wow.
And I can vouch for all the other people. I don't know them that well, so I don't really want to, tell much of their business, but it's like little community things. I know the people that we work with, Nick and Lulu, they're like setting up little booths in their respective industries, because Lulu comes from the real estate industry. So she's connecting with real estate people, and they're trying to educate people on finances, because they can do real estate, the housing market, but she's like, hey, why don't you add additional services? That way you can help them even better.
Wow,
You know what I mean?
good.
So it's like everyone that we ever bring in, they're like wanting to give back to the community in some sort of way, whether it's just their family, the people they surround themselves with, the school communities, their children's communities. It's like I wouldn't even know how to describe it, like a trickling effect.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. I mean, it's always good to help somebody else.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, what's crazy too is the things that we learn here, because it's not only life insurance and finances, it's also leadership and character development. So you've heard a little bit about it today, but
Yes, I did.
that's something that we pride ourselves in, is character development, leadership. Who are you as a person, and how can you help others by being a better person, right? And so we believe, like, if I teach one of our agents something, I believe now that they can pass that down to their children.
Yes.
If they become a better person in themselves, they're going to raise their children with better morals, values, principles, and guide them in a better direction. Have better people in their corner mentoring them on how to carry about life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exciting. What happens to your business after you pass away?
Yeah. So when you first get started with this business, they actually set that up immediately.
Okay.
So there's this. So just like
because you own your own business, right?
Yes. So just like with life insurance, you know how you set up a beneficiary so that when you pass away, someone will receive the money in case you weren't able to use that money. We also have beneficiaries for our business as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we set that up in the beginning. It asks for the person you want to leave it to. If you have a big organization, you can leave that to your family or leave it to your son or daughter or whoever.
To carry on the legacy.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's good. Now, my last question would be, what advice would you give to someone else wanting to either get into business, or what advice would you give to someone that wants to be an entrepreneur?
Advice: have a have thick skin. Have thick skin for sure, because when you're venturing into the world of entrepreneurship, there's going to be a lot of people who are not for it. You know, there's going to be a lot of people who aren't for it, uh, and they're going to advise you not to do it. But some of the advice that was given to me when I first began into the world of entrepreneurship was, um, if you were to switch shoes with that person who's giving you that advice, would you want to live the life they're currently living? My answer was, well, no. You know, they're working 9 to 5 job, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not what I want. 9 to 5 job, drinking every weekend, broken family, and I was like, that's a good point. Although I respect that person, I don't want to be in that position.
Yeah, me neither.
You know, so I decided to take advice from people who are successful in the business, who are successful entrepreneurs. That way, because they've experienced everything that I was about to go through.
Yes.
And when you're venturing into the world of entrepreneurship, time compounds. You know, what you would experience in your normal 30-year span, you're going to experience within the first 5 years in the business. It's going to feel like the world is coming down on you, but that's when you have to buckle down and just get through it. Because if you can get through all those initial obstacles, you can get hit with any other obstacles that are going to come your way. I would say the first few years are probably the worst, just because of all the objections, all the people not supporting you. And strangers are your best friend.
Yeah.
Because strangers will probably support you way more in the business than your family or friends ever will. You'll get a little bit of people that do support you within your family and friends, but most of all, I think for me at least, strangers have become family in this business.
Oh wow. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And also, I would like you guys to subscribe to my YouTube channel and like and comment below. Until the next time I see you guys. Bye.